Picture the start of a night that feels different from every ordinary evening. Long before the two of you are even in the same room, the energy begins to build. It's not about grand gestures or complicated plans. It's about creating a spark of curiosity that lingers in the back of the mind all day. A single text, short and teasing, can set the stage, something that makes them smile and wonder what you're thinking. Maybe it's a message that says, "I've got something planned for us tonight," or even just a playful, "Can't stop thinking about our evening." The words don't have to reveal much. In fact, the less you give away, the stronger the anticipation grows. Anticipation is a powerful force because it engages the imagination. When you leave space for someone to wonder, they fill it with their own thoughts, their own excitement. Instead of rushing toward a moment, you're giving it room to breathe. And that makes every second leading up to it feel charged. Think of how a favorite song sounds when you've been waiting to hear it all day. The first note sends a thrill through you because you've built a quiet expectation. Your relationship deserves that same sense of build-up. And it starts with something as small as a meaningful look or a carefully chosen word. The day itself becomes part of the experience. You might share small hints, a quick phone call, a knowing glance across a room if you happen to meet before the evening. Each little cue is like a brushstroke on a canvas, painting a picture of what's to come. Even the simple act of preparing yourself, choosing what you'll wear, setting the scene in your mind, adds to that electric tension. It's not about performing, it's about savoring. When you finally meet, keep that slow burn alive. Let the first moments together unfold without haste. Maybe it's the way you greet each other at the door, a smile that lingers just a beat longer than usual. Maybe it's the way you guide them into the space you've chosen, a space that feels intentional, whether it's a softly lit living room or a corner of your favorite cafe. The setting doesn't have to be elaborate. What matters is that it feels like you've thought about it, like you've been waiting for this moment all day. As you talk, focus on presence. Put the phone away, give your attention fully. Ask about their day with genuine interest, but sprinkle in small compliments that remind them why tonight is special. The goal isn't to rush toward any destination. It's to create a shared experience where each detail carries weight. Even silence can be powerful when it's charged with unspoken understanding. This kind of anticipation isn't only about romance, it's about respect and mindfulness. You're showing that you value the journey as much as the outcome, that you care about how they feel every step of the way. When someone senses that you're investing time and thought into the evening, it becomes more than just another night. It becomes a memory. By the time the evening deepens, the energy between you is no longer something you force, it's something that has grown naturally. Every glance, every subtle touch carries the weight of all the moments that led up to it. And that is the secret to turning up the heat, not rushing to the finale, but savoring the slow, delicious build that makes every heartbeat, every smile, every whispered word feel alive with possibility. Moving into the evening with a sense of slow build is like letting a favorite melody unfold, each note deepening the mood without ever rushing to the chorus. The secret here is patience, because true chemistry thrives when every moment has room to breathe. You've already set the stage with playful anticipation, so now it's about stretching time in a way that keeps both of you aware of each heartbeat, each glance, each tiny spark that flickers between you. Instead of leaping ahead, imagine that the night is a dance, one that lingers on every step so the excitement never fades. Begin by noticing the smallest details. When you sit together, allow the conversation to wander. Ask questions that reveal stories, memories, little glimpses of the other person's world. Listen with full attention and let your eyes show that you're completely present. That kind of focus carries its own magnetic pull. Every laugh that lingers, every pause that hangs in the air is a chance for the connection to deepen. This is not about silence being awkward. It's about silence becoming a language of its own. Physical closeness doesn't have to be immediate. A casual brush of the hand as you pass something across the table, a light touch on the arm when you emphasize a point. These are gentle signals that create a rhythm without ever feeling forced. The idea is to let contact happen almost by accident, as if the night itself is guiding you both toward it. When you move with that kind of care, the smallest gesture becomes a spark, and a spark is far more thrilling when it isn't drowned out by rushing. The atmosphere around you matters too. Let the environment echo the unhurried mood you're creating. Soft lighting, music with a steady but subtle beat, even the scent of a favorite candle can help the evening breathe at its own pace. These details aren't decoration, they're part of the conversation. They slow everything down and invite you both to notice. When the world outside feels fast and demanding, this shared pocket of time becomes something rare and memorable. Words themselves can be part of the slow build, compliments that unfold naturally. Perhaps a quiet remark about how radiant they look tonight, or an observation about a trait you admire, carry more weight when they're offered without expectation. Speak softly enough that they lean in to hear you. When you lower your voice, you invite closeness, and that closeness is its own kind of anticipation. As the night progresses, let moments overlap and stretch. If you're sharing a drink or a meal, don't hurry to finish. Take breaks, laugh, drift into topics that make you both smile. Even something as simple as a shared memory from earlier in the evening can keep the sense of connection growing. The longer you stay in this rhythm, the more each glance and touch begins to feel charged, as if the air itself is alive with possibility. Patience here isn't about holding back for the sake of restraint, it's about valuing each step along the way. When you create a slow build, you're saying, this moment matters just as much as what might come next. That thoughtfulness is magnetic. It shows that you're not chasing a single highlight, but savoring an unfolding experience. By the time the night reaches its natural peak, the chemistry you've nurtured will feel richer and more meaningful because you allowed it to grow layer by layer, like a song that lingers in the mind long after the last note fades. Engaging all 5 senses turns an ordinary evening into something unforgettable because it draws you both out of the everyday and into the richness of the moment. When you pay attention to sight, sound, scent, taste, and touch, you create a shared atmosphere that feels alive and immersive. It isn't about buying expensive props or staging a performance. It's about noticing the subtle details that spark emotion and heighten connection. After all, the mind responds most vividly when the senses are awake, and that's where lasting chemistry begins. Start with sight, because the eyes are the gateway to mood. The way you set the scene can quietly influence everything that follows. Soft lighting, whether it's a warm lamp, flickering candles, or the gentle glow from a window, invites intimacy far more effectively than a bright overhead bulb. A space that feels welcoming and thoughtfully arranged tells the other person they were worth the effort. Even your own appearance plays a role here, not in the sense of dressing to impress with extravagance, but in choosing something that feels intentional and confident. That visual cue says you cared enough to prepare, and that's a powerful message. Sound comes next, shaping the emotional rhythm of the evening. Music can be the heartbeat of a night, whether it's a mellow jazz track, an acoustic playlist, or even a quiet background of nature sounds. Choose something that supports conversation instead of overpowering it, a soundtrack that encourages closeness rather than distraction. The right soundscape invites both of you to relax and lean into the mood, and sometimes a carefully timed pause in conversation lets you simply share the moment, letting the music carry you. Scent might be the most underrated sense, yet it has the strongest link to memory. A hint of a favorite fragrance, the aroma of a meal prepared with care, or even the subtle scent of fresh flowers can instantly ground you in the present and create a memory that lingers long after the night ends. You don't need heavy perfumes or overpowering candles, just a touch of something pleasant, something that whispers rather than shouts. Taste follows naturally, and it doesn't have to mean a full dinner. It could be as simple as sharing a small dessert, sipping a favorite drink, or trying a unique snack together. The key is in savoring it, slowing down to notice the flavors and textures, feeding each other a bite, or recommending a new flavor for them to try adds a playful layer of connection. It's a reminder that pleasure can be found in the smallest details when you take the time to notice them. Finally, there is touch, the most personal of the senses and the one that binds the others together. Here, subtlety carries the most power. A light brush of fingers when handing over a glass, a gentle squeeze on the shoulder while laughing, or a lingering hug as you greet or say goodbye can all send a message of warmth and presence. When each touch arises naturally from the flow of the evening, it feels effortless and deeply meaningful. When you weave these senses together, the effect is greater than the sum of its parts. The dim glow of a candle, the soft notes of music, the faint scent of something sweet, the shared taste of a favorite treat, and the gentle pressure of a hand all merge into a moment that feels vivid and alive. This isn't about grand seduction, it's about creating an environment where connection flourishes. By engaging every sense, you invite both of you to slow down, to notice, to remember. And that is what transforms an ordinary night into something that lingers long after the lights fade and the music stops. Confidence in communication is the spark that keeps every other part of the evening alive. After you've set the mood with anticipation, embraced a slow build, and awakened the senses, the way you speak and listen becomes the thread that ties everything together. There's a quiet power in knowing what you want to express and sharing it in a way that feels natural and warm. Confidence here doesn't mean dominating the conversation or putting on a performance. It means being present, honest, and unafraid to let your genuine thoughts come through. From the very first words, your tone can create comfort and excitement at the same time. Speak with an ease that invites curiosity. Instead of worrying about having the perfect lines, focus on being clear and intentional. When you compliment, do it with specificity, noticing a unique detail about their style, recalling something they mentioned earlier in the day, or acknowledging how much you appreciate their company. A simple, "I love how you make every moment feel lighter," carries far more weight than a generic remark. Authentic words land deeper because they come from a place of truth. Listening is just as important as speaking. True confidence shows when you give someone your full attention without rushing to respond. Ask questions that show you remember what matters to them. Maybe a follow-up on a story they told last week, or a thoughtful comment about something they're passionate about. When you pause to let their words settle, you create space for them to open up. That openness builds trust, and trust builds a deeper connection than any flashy gesture ever could. Flirting, when done with a confident but gentle touch, becomes a natural extension of conversation. It's in the playful teasing, the shared jokes, the way you hold eye contact a heartbeat longer than usual. These moments don't need to be scripted. In fact, they work best when they're spontaneous. You might lower your voice slightly as the conversation turns more personal, creating a subtle intimacy that pulls you closer without either of you even noticing how it happened. Confidence also means expressing what you enjoy and inviting the other person to share their preferences. If you're planning the flow of the evening, you might say, "I was thinking we could take a walk after dinner. How does that sound?" This simple approach shows initiative while respecting their input. It's not about control, it's about guiding the experience with openness and care. When someone feels that their thoughts and boundaries matter, the atmosphere becomes naturally more relaxed and enticing. Even moments of silence can speak volumes when you carry them with confidence. A comfortable pause between sentences, a quiet moment where you both simply enjoy the music or the view, tells the other person that you're at ease together. You're not scrambling to fill the air because you trust the connection you've built. That kind of calm presence is magnetic. It signals that you value the shared moment more than any carefully planned line. By the time the evening unfolds toward its next stage, your communication has done more than just exchange words. It has created a rhythm of trust and playfulness, a feeling that you both can express yourselves without hesitation. Confidence in what you say and how you listen transforms simple dialogue into a dance of its own, one that deepens attraction and sets the tone for everything still to come. In that shared understanding, you both feel free to enjoy the night exactly as it unfolds, knowing that every word and every pause is part of something genuine. Spontaneity is where the night takes on a life of its own, reminding you both that the most memorable moments are often the ones you never planned. After you've built anticipation, slowed the pace, awakened the senses, and spoken with confidence, letting go of a fixed script keeps the energy fresh and exciting. When you embrace the unexpected, you create a sense of adventure that draws you closer because neither of you knows exactly what will happen next. And that mystery is electric. The simplest way to invite spontaneity is to follow the mood instead of the clock. Maybe you plan to stay in, but a sudden breeze through the window makes you want to step outside for a late night walk. Maybe a song comes on that makes you laugh and gets you both dancing in the living room. These small detours show that you're willing to listen to the moment rather than force it into a schedule. That flexibility feels freeing, as if you're both co-creating the evening instead of sticking to a checklist. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's as easy as suggesting, let's take a different route home, or I know a quiet spot where we can see the city lights. These ideas work because they signal presence. You're paying attention to how the night feels and offering a new way to enjoy it together. When you respond to the atmosphere, the person beside you senses that you're fully engaged, and that awareness strengthens the connection. Even conversation can become spontaneous when you allow it to wander. Ask unexpected questions, share a surprising story from your past, or reveal a dream you've never talked about before. When you open up in unplanned ways, you invite the other person to do the same. Laughter often comes more easily when the dialogue drifts into unpredictable territory, and laughter itself is a form of closeness. Touch and body language can follow the same natural rhythm. A sudden playful gesture, like spinning them during that impromptu dance or pulling them into a quick embrace as you cross the street, adds a layer of delight that careful planning can't match. These gestures feel authentic because they arise from genuine excitement, not from a premeditated script. Spontaneity also encourages you to notice the world around you. Maybe you spot a small food stand still open late at night, and you decide to share a snack you've never tried. Perhaps you both catch the scent of rain on the air and pause to breathe it in. These are the moments that often become lasting memories, precisely because they're not repeatable. You can never recreate the exact combination of sights, sounds, and feelings that come from simply being present together. The beauty of the unscripted is that it deepens trust. When you're willing to shift plans and explore, you're telling the other person that their company matters more than the agenda. They feel valued because you're not chasing perfection, you're enjoying the journey. That openness invites them to relax, to suggest their own spontaneous ideas, and to meet you in the space where connection grows naturally. By the end of the night, what you'll remember most won't be a perfectly timed event, but the little surprises that unfolded along the way, the unexpected laughter, the detour that led to a quiet view, the dance that happened because you both felt the rhythm. Those moments linger long after everything else fades. Proof that when you allow the evening to guide you, you create something unique, something that belongs only to the two of you and to that one unrepeatable night. As the evening winds down, the way you close it can elevate everything that came before, turning a night of playful anticipation and shared surprises into something that stays with you both. Ending with genuine affection isn't just a polite gesture, it's the final layer of warmth that makes the connection memorable. After the anticipation, the slow build, the sensory moments, the confident conversation, and the spontaneous detours, this last stage isn't about grand declarations or dramatic finales. It's about grounding the experience in care and leaving the other person with a feeling of being truly valued. Affectionate closure starts with presence. When you reach the natural end of the evening, resist the urge to rush or let the energy simply fizzle out. Instead, take a moment to notice the small details. The way the room feels a little quieter now, the lingering scent of the candle you lit, the softness in your voices as you speak. These are subtle signals that the night is easing into something gentle, and they deserve to be savored. Words carry a special weight here. A simple, sincere compliment can mean more than 100 rehearsed lines. You might say how much you enjoyed their company or how the evening felt refreshingly different because of them. Speak slowly, with an honesty that shows you're not just filling the silence. This isn't about crafting a perfect goodbye. It's about sharing the truth of how you feel in that moment. Physical closeness can mirror that honesty without needing to be dramatic. A warm hug held a second longer, a hand lightly resting on theirs, or a soft squeeze on the shoulder communicates that you're not ready to let go too quickly. It's a quiet way of saying, "This mattered to me," without using words at all. Even if you're parting ways for the night, that lingering touch is something they'll remember as they walk away. If circumstances allow, consider a small gesture of care, a glass of water offered before they leave, a thoughtful reminder for them to text when they get home safely, or simply walking them to their door. These moments may seem ordinary, but they carry a sense of attentiveness that deepens the connection you've built. They show that your interest isn't confined to the excitement of the evening, but extends to their well-being. Affectionate closure also means respecting the rhythm of the night and the boundaries of the person you're with. If it feels right to continue talking for a few more minutes, let it happen naturally. If the moment calls for quiet, share it without the need to fill the space. Sometimes the most powerful ending is a calm, unspoken understanding that you both experienced something meaningful. As you part, keep the sense of anticipation alive for the future. A light-hearted comment about something you'd like to do next time, or a simple, "I can't wait to see you again," can carry the energy forward without pressure. It creates a thread that stretches beyond tonight, reminding them that this evening is not an isolated spark but part of a growing story. When you reflect on the night later, you'll realize that it isn't just the playful teasing or the unexpected adventures that stand out, but the way you both felt at the end. Valued, appreciated, and connected. Ending with affection transforms a fleeting evening into a lasting memory, one that both of you can revisit in your minds with a quiet smile. That gentle close, full of sincerity and care, is what turns an enjoyable night into something that lingers long after the lights are out and the world has gone still.